Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. Don't lie to upsell and scam me out of my rims. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, I had a minor accident driving to visit family in Town, Texas. Not small town Texas, but big enough to have most large chains, but not much else. Anyway, I had a pothole about 5 miles from my destination and noticed a significant wobble in my car. It was nighttime, so I just parked at my grandma's place and decided to inspect the damage the next day. Next day, I get out and look under the car and see the rim is bent. I drive a less common Japanese make and one of their less common models. For this particular model, there is a lot of value attached to the wheels. The car is the last of its model type, and the wheels are particularly valuable/expensive. So I'm pretty frustrated. New OEM wheels will be $400 from the dealer. Used rims will be $300 and questionable. And I'm unsure about the repairability of a bent rim at this point in the story. If I don't have a matching set of original rims, the car's value is significantly diminished. However, even if I wanted to, there was no way I could find a dealer for my make within 100 miles. I'd either have to get it repaired or get a temporary replacement. Usually, in situations like this, I'd call my mechanic buddy and get his opinion. However, he works a 10-day on, 4 days off schedule and worked his butt off to get his shift with holiday weekend off, since he never sees his kids. I did not want to interrupt his family time, so I figured I'd call on the last day of his break as he was heading back to work. So I leave the car in a driveway for Thanksgiving and spend time with my family. First thing in the morning on Friday, I wake up and go to Chain Tire Store. I've had good luck with Chain Tire Store in the past, so I figure they will be honest with me and give me a fair diagnosis. I roll into the shop first thing and the manager immediately comes to greet me, saying he really likes my car and wishes there was a dealer nearby so he could have one of his own. Classic salesman tactic. But whatever. I show him what's wrong, he pulls the car into the shop and a mechanic pulls a wheel off. After looking at the wheel, the manager comes out and tells me he's sorry, but the wheel is not safe to repair. He shows me the bend, which to my eye is very slight, but he assures me they put the wheel underwater and bubbles came out from under the tire, indicating the tire wouldn't hold air pressure. I thought this was weird because my tire pressure gauge did not come on, and the tire had held up fine after hitting the pothole. Still, I trusted the Chain Tire Store, so whatever. I just need to buy a new rim. The manager asks if I'd like to get a replacement, and I say I'm not sure, I'll need to think about it. He offers to ring me up for an estimate while I wait, so I go outside and consider my options. Buy one mismatched wheel and replace it immediately when I get home, or buy a matching set and replace the damaged wheel when I eventually sell the car. The store manager comes out and tells me the cheapest estimate he has to get me out of the shop safely is $550. Wow, this is insane, and I'm taken aback. I ask for the write-up of the estimate and he complies. 4 wheels, $100 each, and $150 in labor. I told him the cheapest option was just 1 wheel and labor, around $140, and his response was that clearly I drove a nice car and I'd want a full set of matching rims. He said, "Look, I know it looks a little expensive, but I'm a nice guy, and I'll personally buy your old wheels from you for $50 a piece, bringing the net price down to $350 for a whole set of matching rims." This set off warning bells, so I told him I'd need to think it over some more. After a few minutes of thinking, I realized this guy is trying to scam me out of my rims and get sales commission on a huge sale. Truly in the spirit of Thanksgiving. He also shows me that for Black Friday, they are having a special 20% mail-in rebate if I go with 6 months financing. Considering that the price of one new wheel for my car is $400 and I could get a full new set of matching wheels for $440 after the rebate, I figured I'd get the matching set and figure out how to get back on the original rims later. I did not really care at this point, I just wanted to be done with the scummy store manager. So I told him I'd take the full set, and I'll be doing the financing for the 20% rebate. He offered to write me a check for $200 on the wheels, but I told him I preferred to keep the old ones. He was visibly disappointed, but he still made a big sale and would make a lot on commission. So I drive many hours home, fill out the form for the rebate, and enjoy my weekend off. I send a pic of the bent wheel to my mechanic buddy and say that I'm upset that I'm not driving on the original rims, and he immediately responds with why not. I tell him what happened at Chain Tire Store, and he calls me immediately. He says based on the pictures I sent, the wheel was fully repairable, and it should only cost $100 to $150 to do so. The store manager did not just try a sales tactic to get me to make a big purchase, he lied to me. So I go online to find a customer service number for the company. Immediately on the front of their webpage, their guarantee. 30-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. If for any reason you are not satisfied with your purchase, you are entitled to a refund at any of our nationwide locations. I'm not one to take advantage of a company's guarantee, but this is a special circumstance. So I decided it would be worth it to get refunded. I go and take my bent trim to a wheel repair specialty shop and get it back later that day. Meanwhile, I called the Chain Tire Store and spoke with the manager who sold me the wheels. I say I'm unhappy with my wheels and would like to work out a return. I tell him I got a second opinion on the wheel and it turns out it was repairable. I would like to use their guarantee and receive my money back because of his negligence or dishonesty, whichever he decided to pick. He picked negligence and then told me since I was doing financing, a large rebate and a non-local return, he would only refund me $250 of the $550 purchase price, supposedly to cover shipping and reinstall of the old wheels, and that the initial labor on the installation was non-refundable. My options were either to accept the offer he made or hope that corporate would understand and help me iron out the details, and I told him to begin the process of getting the $250 while I found a local location to have the work done. I did not tell him I'd be sending that estimate up to the corporate. I called the corporate Chain Tire Store the next day, after receiving an email saying I'd be receiving a check for $250, assuming I could bring the wheels to a local location. I explained the situation to the person on the phone, forwarded them the email from the manager for the $250 offer, and sent him photos of the bent and subsequently repaired wheel, along with a receipt for the repair and safety tests done by the repair shop. They immediately apologized for what had happened and said the manager did not have the authority to issue a check for the partial value of a refund. They read me a policy which stated that all refunds must be for the full purchase value, meaning the manager was not allowed to make a partial refund at all. He either had to completely deny the refund or refund the full $550 in full. Agreeing to a partial refund had violated the company policy. He was also required to issue the refund through the same means of payment instead of writing a check, meaning I was completely off the hook for the whole $550 purchase. So on the phone, they set me up with a complimentary appointment to swap out the wheels, refunded the $550 in full, and confirmed that the manager who sold me the wheels would be reprimanded. And for the cherry on top, I received confirmation that I will be still getting the 20% rebate in mail later next week. It just about covers the cost of repair to my wheel. Next story. 3 entitled mothers send their kids over for food because I have too much. Backstory 1. I have a working pantry, which means I have food that will last my family up to 3 months. It's food that we eat and use, so I'm constantly restocking and rotating it. I'm not exactly a prepper, but it does come in handy for emergencies. Backstory 2. I've been in self-quarantine for a few weeks now. Due to my compromised immune system, no one outside our family is allowed inside the house, and we don't answer the door if we don't have to. We also have a Ring doorbell, so we can communicate with people without answering the door. Backstory 3. I used to coupon to the point that I could have been on the extreme couponing show. That's how I built up my food storage quickly. In the past, the neighborhood kids learned quickly that my son had lots of snacks that I was willing to share. In turn, their parents learned that I had a very large food storage, which I never wanted to advertise, but oh well. I did not think it would be a problem at the time. Yeah, I was dumb. I no longer coupon with the same intensity due to my declining health, but I do smaller trips. An extra can or two each grocery order to maintain my food storage. Sorry for the novel. On to the story. Our city is in the first few days of quarantine. Schools and workplaces have been closed, but our grocery stores are still open, albeit wiped out and overwhelmed. Yesterday, the doorbell rang at about 9:30 a.m. I checked the Ring app and saw a neighbor's kid, about 5 years old, standing on my porch. So I pressed the talk button and tell him hi. Hi, he said. I'm here for the food. Confused, I asked, what food? Mommy said you have food for me. He replied, I'm sorry, honey, but I don't. I'm sure your mom has food for you at home. Okay, bye. He waved into the camera and left. I brushed it off because that kid was known for making stuff up. So I settled back into bed. Almost a half an hour later, the doorbell rings again, and when I check it, there are 2 kids standing there. One is a kid of my neighbor across the street and the other lives on the street behind me. When I greet them through the Ring app, it's the same story. Their moms told me that I had food to give them. I quickly told them no and to go and talk to their moms. They said okay and went on their way. While they walked away, I sent off a text to the 3 moms. Your kids stopped by my house saying you told them that I have food for them. I don't. Why are you telling them that? One of them told me that, what about all of the food in your storage? What about it? You have a lot you can share. Another one tells me, you've shared before. Well, my food storage is enough for my family. If I had anything to spare, I would gladly share. But I don't. But you have lots of food. Again, for my family, yes. The stores are still open. If you need food, you'll have to try your luck there. Or we could just come over and take your stuff? Yeah, I doubt you could stop us. All 3 know about my health and mobility issues. Try it, and I'll meet you on my driveway with my shotgun, an angry Rottweiler, and my even angrier husband. Are you threatening us? You threatened to steal from my property, so I'm just returning the favor. Which? Oh no, you called me a bad word? I think I'm going to cry. I better drown my sadness by eating all of these yummy snacks I have in my food storage. They did not respond back, but I did hear from one of my other neighbors that one of the entitled mother was complaining to anyone that would listen that I'm a mean person for letting her kids go hungry. Several people asked her why she was trying to take food away from an ill person. I have several chronic illness as well that have me more or less homebound. When she bulk buys at Costco every 2 weeks. So yeah, they asked her why she would do that when she bulk buys at Costco every 2 weeks. She did not have an answer for that and stopped complaining about me soon afterwards. She did end up going to the store to buy stuff but was super pissed because the lines were super long and she was there for about an hour. Update. For those of you who are wondering, we live in the western region of the United States, near the Rocky Mountains. That's all I'm willing to say. Preppers and people with food storage like mine are pretty much the norm where we are. But there are people like the three entitled mother that do not prepare beyond their monthly grocery trips. Let's just assume that everyone here has some sort of food storage, but as a rule, we do not ask or talk about them. After my encounter with the entitled mother on Friday, I did not think much of it, but I did tell my husband. He was not amused. Since my health has been declining, my husband has been fiercely protective of me. He wanted to storm over and rip into all three of them, but I managed to convince him not to. He did ask for screenshots of the texts just in case, and I happily sent them to him. Saturday night after I went to bed early, the neighbor who told me about one of the entitled mother had been complaining about me, we will call her the nice neighbor, showed up on my porch with our neighbor cub and spoke to my husband through our screen door. The nice neighbor said that she and several other neighbors were concerned when the second entitled mother had basically admitted to threatening to come and take our food storage. I guess she was telling people that it was a funny story or something. Our neighbor cub was there because he co-heads our neighborhood watch and is also the second entitled mother's brother-in-law. I've always gotten the impression that he and the second entitled mother do not get along. Quick note: we have several police officers as well as firemen that live in our neighborhood. In fact, I have 3 different policemen living on just my street. The cop asked Hubby if we had proof of the text conversation, and Hubby sent him a copy. The cop thanked him and told him he'd be speaking with his sister-in-law later that night. Hubby thanked them both and they left. This morning, the cop showed up again. He told Hubby that he'd met up with the 3 mothers and their husbands, and sternly told him that with the screenshots Hubby had given him, he could arrest the 3 of them for harassing and threatening me, and that if anything happens at our house, that they will be the first on their list of people to talk to and/or arrest. I don't know if he just told them that to scare them, but he knows a lot better than me, so I will go with it. He also told them that he had informed the other cops that live in the neighborhood and that they, as well as the neighbors that were concerned in the first place, would also be watching them and to not be stupid. So that's it for now. The cop told us to call him if we have any problems with anyone, but I do not anticipate anything soon. He admitted to Hubby that all 3 mothers looked terrified after he mentioned being arrested, and their husbands were furious at them. One of the husbands asked his wife, "How could you think it was okay to threaten a sick person?" And another husband told his wife that she was dumb for threatening someone who owned a shotgun. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll update if anything else happens. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.